Hello and welcome to Under the Umbrella. I'm WDTN Plus meteorologist Melissa Barrington. Well, today on Under the Umbrella, we are honored to have one of our weather checkers. And today we are joined by Bill Telzerow. Hello, Bill, and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So, first of all, can you tell me what a WDTN weather checker is or does?
Well, basically, we're an observer, and we have rain gauges, we have thermometers. Some people have anemometers. I don't currently, because of how high they have to be in the sky. Mm-hmm. But we go ahead and verify and validate a lot of what's going on.
Yeah, and it's very important to have weather checkers. How long have you been a WDTN weather checker?
My goodness, this is my 30th year.
Wow, and this is my 20th show or episode of this, so we're just making all kinds of milestones here today.
We are.
Where do you report from?
We call it the Fairborn Beavercreek area. Actually, we have a condominium on the Beavercreek golf course.
Okay. And so how did you get started with this? Like, did you call Brian Davis and say, I want to be a weather checker, or how did this work?
Oh, my goodness. A friend of mine years ago, he passed on to me. He said, Bill, I'm giving up being the weather checker here in Xenia, because at the time I was living in Xenia. And I said, you know, what do you do? And he told me, and he said, you can do it if you want. And I said, how do I get into this? Mm-hmm. And the next thing I know, he's giving me the name and phone number of some guy by the name of Carl Nichols.
I was going to ask you if Carl was the one that you started with. Yep.
And so I called Carl, and he told me, he said, you know, welcome. You have a thermometer and a rain gauge, and here's the phone number that you call into. Mm-hmm. And as they say, the rest is history.
So you used to call this in, but now things are a little bit different. Not everybody calls in anymore.
Right. We do it by email now. Mm-hmm. But fortunately, the email is fast enough to where it's getting there in decent time. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it just pops up on the screens for you and Brian and Cameron to see it almost instantly as it's sent.
Well, we have to actually manually put it into a graphic, but when we see it on our email, then we can just take it and grab it right there.
Oh, really?
It's not instantly on our map. I wish it was. That would make it so much easier.
I bet.
So what got you interested in, I mean, you mentioned how you ended up getting this position because somebody kind of grandfathered it to you, but were you always interested in weather prior to this?
Oh, yes. I always, the different places that I've lived in the world mm-hmm. And in the country, just as an example, I was a technical advisor to the military at Kadena Air Base in Okinawa, Japan. Mm. And we went through 3 typhoons. Oh. They were very interesting. I had access to the SR-71 photos that it would take of them. And it fascinated me. And I mean, it's just on and on. From typhoons to thunderstorms, I really, really enjoy forecasting. Mm-hmm. And I've learned a lot over the years by those 2 guys, you know, Carl Nichols and Brian Davis. We've had a lot of conversations over the years.
And what's one of your favorite memories from either meteorologist?
From other meteorologists?
Or from either one of them? Do you remember a specific conversation that maybe you had that sticks out in your mind from either Brian or Carl or a particular event?
I think one of them, actually one of each.
Okay.
One day, and this is years back when we had early computers and we had early radar access. Mm-hmm. And I called Carl up one day and I said, I'm watching this radar and the storms are disappearing on the screen. And he said, that's a supercell.
Oh.
And it was taking over and it was absorbing all the energy. I mean, it was fascinating to watch. And that was one of the things that, here again, one thing happens and then that brings up a question in your mind. And then another thing happens and that brings up another question. I used to bug Carl all the time.
That's
And
how you learn.
I would ask him, I would say, what models are you using? Where are you accessing them? Other than the ones that you guys obviously paid for. And he would give me a lot of different access points that I could look at. And then I started doing modeling and, well, I'm a fanatic, I guess you could say. I've been called that by several people, including my wife.
Aw. I think when I was going to school and stuff, everyone used to call us like a weather weenie. Have you ever heard that term?
Yes, actually.
Have you been called that?
Yes. And probably one of them with Brian, and I wish I could tell you the year, but there was a really nasty storm came through Beavercreek. We had moved to Beavercreek at this time. And there was a downburst that went through Beavercreek, and there was a lot of damage. And the downburst I could see from my house. I mean, I could see the damage. But on my property, it was either 8 or 9 trees that were snapped off about 30 feet off the ground.
Oh.
And I spoke to the Weather Service, and they didn't have anything that looked like a tornado or the gate-to-gate speed that would even be brought up to a tornado or a funnel. And Brian and I had several discussions about it, and we got into talking about eddies. Like you see an eddy in a stream, well, weather has eddies also.
Correct.
And you get the spinning off the side, and it literally just chopped off the tops of these trees unbelievably.
Wow.
Unfortunately, there was no damage to houses or anything like that.
That was going to be my next question. What kind
Yeah.
of damage did that cause?
No, we had 3 acres, so there was a lot of room for the trees to fall.
Oh. Well, even if you have 3 acres, you could still potentially have, trees close to your home too. So,
absolutely.
so that, either way.
We were fortunate there that we didn't get any damage.
Very fortunate. What is your favorite season and why? Do you have one?
I would have to say spring.
Really? Okay.
I really do enjoy the forecasting aspect and watching the cold fronts start to interact with the warm, wet weather. And I think over the years, that's probably been my favorite, although we do have a second season.
Yep. We're coming up on it.
And, September, October, November, I mean, I've seen some really, really nasty storms in those 3 months.
Yep. Absolutely.
But I do think that spring is probably my favorite, even though I enjoy the temperatures of the fall.
So you're more of a spring thunderstorm type person versus a winter storm person.
Yes. Well, yeah. Unfortunately, us fanatics have to have something to do.
Well, yeah. And keeping an eye to the sky, hey, that happens every single day and it's constantly changing.
Yes.
So, what is most fascinating to you about like those storms? Do you like watching the lightning? Do you like watching the cloud development?
It's Melissa, it's just it's the entire process that occurs. You watch it on radar. You know what's occurring, and it's never the same.
Were you impacted by the Memorial Day tornadoes?
There's a story for you.
Yeah, all right. Well, we've got a couple minutes here, so please tell me.
I was watching the radar, and I was watching this disturbance coming down out of northwest Indiana, and gosh, it must have been 10 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden I saw something on the radar that didn't look right, and it was a disturbance that was moving almost from south to north, heading for the other disturbance, and that started to just blow up. And you could see it on radar, and you could see it with infrared satellite imagery also. And as it got closer, it started getting nasty. And I called Wilmington. I'm also an observer with them.
Okay.
I called Wilmington, and I said, hey, I've got dime-size hail at the moment. I'll call back if it changes. And about, 7 minutes later, I called him back, and I said, it's me again. I said, I've got quarter-size hail now. And the young man on the phone, he said to me very calmly, he said, Bill? I said, yes. He said, you have a tornado heading straight at you. Please take cover. It was like, okay. And Judy and I and our two Cavalier went downstairs in our condo. We have nice thick walls. And it passed by less than a half mile to the south of us.
Wow.
That was strange. That was very strange.
It sounds like it was very strange. I would like to take a quick pause here, and we'll continue our story if you don't mind.
Sure.
We'll be right back. We will have more with Bill Telzerow, who is a weather checker for WDTN, in just a few minutes. Welcome back to Under the Umbrella, and today we are talking to Bill Telzerow, who is a weather checker for WDTN in Beavercreek, and we were talking just a moment ago about what it was like when the Memorial Day tornado came through your area, and you said where we ended before was you took cover. So what happened after that?
We were downstairs and just basically holding our breath, I guess, and then the lights went out. And so we went to a safer area of the basement because we thought it really was closer. And fortunately, like I said, it passed less than a half mile to the south of us, which was pretty close.
You were very lucky on that one.
And when I saw afterwards, I looked at the track on it, and you could see where the tornado made a little jog as it was heading towards us. And fortunately, none of the subdivision that we live in was damaged, and the one next to us wasn't damaged. So it was very interesting that it made that little turn and then went down through basically open area.
You got lucky on that one.
Yes, we did.
Now, you mentioned that you're also a weather checker for the National Weather Service, so you're part of the co-op program, I assume?
Yes.
How long have you been doing that?
Actually, I joined the same year.
So 30 years.
So 30 years with
Wow.
the National Weather Service. I do both the regular support and I do COCO-RAS,
Yes.
which I find to be quite interesting because it takes you into a different environment. There's many times when the folks at Wilmington will say, we had, rain in this area here, but none over here. And so by reporting in, they can pinpoint, especially for a hydrological environment for the rivers and lakes, where the rain fell, where it didn't, or even when I report in hail, it's, what size was it? the duration, how much was there, et cetera, et cetera. So it's fun.
Yeah, it keeps you busy, right?
I mean, that's the whole thing. And just the other day when your videographer Joe came over, and he said to me, he said, "So after 30 years, how do you still have interest?" And I thought that was a great question. And basically, it comes down to the fact that it's never the same.
Every day. It changes every single day, constantly. And it's something that everybody talks about almost every day because it affects everyone every single day.
Absolutely.
So it's extremely important.
Just like this rain that we just recently had,
Yes.
3.5 inches of water in a fairly small area. But I mean, because I know the airport only had 2 inches and something.
Yep.
But here again, that's part of the observing is where did it rain the heaviest? Why did it rain there?
Yep.
And here again, Brian and I have had either discussions on the phone or by email of why it happened. And he'll go into some details that I'm sure most people would just, their eyes would roll back.
Just getting too technical for you.
But it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it.
It's really interesting. So I've got some video here that Joe shot. So let's go ahead and see. So this is your weather station.
Yes.
I think I have the same one at my house. So that's the anemometer.
Right. And the only problem with reporting with the anemometer here or where I'm living currently is it's not high enough. It should be 33 feet in the air. But after a while, you get a feel for wind gusts that rattle the house and trees that go down or snap branches off. And after 30 years.
And you also have the very large rain gauge as well. So
that's the Cocoa Roz.
Yeah, that's from the National Weather Service, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very accurate. I do have the electronic backup, but
and then do you also have like a outdoor electronic temperature gauge too as well? I think I saw it there.
That's all part of that station.
The station there.
Yes.
Okay, my station doesn't always work all the time. I think sometimes ours just blows off because my husband, he actually has it's on our fence. And so over time, it keeps like tilting. And then sometimes like the rain gauge doesn't work because it's tilting and then we have to go out and fix it. And
oh my gosh. Yeah, the Cocoa Ross rain gauge, I think, is probably one of the best things that I did.
Yeah, because it's so accurate and stuff. And then you probably also have the measure.
And it's so stable.
Yes.
I mean, it would, literally take a tornado to break it off.
Yeah, yeah.
Not that I wanted to.
No, you don't need that.
No, we don't need that.
You've already been through enough with that. So since you are a weather enthusiast, should we say?
I would, yeah, that's probably
a budding
an
meteorologist, yeah. You might even know more than me. So I have come up with a few trivia questions, which should be a breeze for you. So if you'd like to play along with me.
Sure.
Okay, I know there's some questions.
Is this a pass-fail?
Oh, this is multiple choice or true false.
That's an easy one there.
Okay, good. So I'll just read the question anyways. It says, which type of cloud produces thunder? A, cirrus, B, cumulonimbus, C, stratus, and D, cumulus.
B, cumulonimbus.
Very good. So I always tell my kids, like whenever I go into a weather talk, I always say, what's the really big cloud? And this is the one that's also known as a thunderstorm. But then they have to guess cumulonimbus cloud. So that's how I tell them how to do that. See, I told you this is going to be easy. Okay. So number 2, what should you do if a severe thunderstorm warning is issued? A, take cover and go inside. B, stay away from windows. C, do not take a shower. D, wait for the storm to pass, or E, all of the above?
E, all of the above.
Correct. Very good.
Absolutely.
I know.
Yeah. That's the rule of thumb in our house, pretty much there.
Yep. Because I know some folks here might be questioning, why not take a shower. And it's because the lightning can sometimes travel through the pipes.
Yes.
And I've seen pictures where the lightning has gone through and like destroyed the shower. So a lot of folks don't know that one. So
That's a good one, actually.
yeah, well, that was the point on that one. So, but I figured you'd know it. So, because you're great at this. So it was E, all of the above. Okay, next one here. True, false. Can a thunderstorm produce snow?
Yes. True.
Correct. True. Don't see it that often, but I know Brian gets really excited when it comes up and he's like, yeah, there's some thunder snow there.
So do I.
It happens so rarely. So it's amazing when it happens. It really is.
In fact, the first time if you don't mind me adding.
Oh, absolutely. Go ahead.
The first time that I encountered thunder snow, Judy and I and our daughter were living in Utah at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, we would get a lot of snowstorms. But the first time I was outside shoveling while it was snowing, and all of a sudden, we had lightning.
I was going to say lightning. Yeah.
What was that? Well, the thunder just come crashing through. Mm-hmm. But it sounds so different when it's snowing.
Yeah, and I'm sure it really startled you when you first heard it. Like, what was that?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And those things I do report in also
Mm-hmm.
to you guys and the National Weather Service.
Yeah, and the snow is usually pretty heavy when that happens too.
Usually.
Yeah, so it's an unusual phenomenon, but amazing when it happens.
There's a lot of convective energy,
yeah.
even when it's snowing.
Yeah. Okay, we got two more.
Oh.
Two more. I think you can do it. So, what type of lightning is most common? Cloud to cloud, cloud to ground, cloud to air, or intra-cloud? Actually, now I'm looking at it.
Over the years, I normally would have said probably cloud to cloud. But in the past few years, it seems to be that we've had more CG. We've had more cloud to ground than I remember.
Mm-hmm. Well, now that I'm looking at the question, I think A and D are the exact same thing.
Well,
when I wrote the question, and that is actually the answer, which is what you said at first, was more into each cloud. So it's usually from cloud to cloud. So intra-cloud is just a more technical term of cloud to cloud. So my bad on having two of the same answers on that one.
Here again, I do think, you can correct me, I do think that we have been seeing more cloud to ground lightning than we used to.
That may be true. Just in general, just more storms in general across much,
Yes.
So that probably is true, but still, on a whole, we're probably still seeing more going in between the clouds versus what's making it to the ground. But that's not discounting the fact that we may be seeing more that is reaching the ground since over time. So there's a difference there. So, okay, one more final question. Here we go. All right. This one should be easy. Which instrument is used to measure pressure? A rain gauge, thermometer, barometer, or hygrometer?
C, barometer.
Very good. C, barometer. Well, I'd like to thank you, Bill, for joining me today on Under the Umbrella. I have a little WDTN gift for you. I have a little tape measure here that has WDTN on it here that you can have. So this will be your gift for playing along with me today. I appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. And I really appreciated you contacting me. I've never done this before. And it's fun.
Good. Well, I'm glad you had a good time.
I had a good time.
Thank you so much for joining me today. And I would like to thank our watchers at home for joining us as well on Under the Umbrella. And until next time, unless you have a topic that you may be interested in, you can always email me at undertheumbrella@wdtn.com, and I can take a look at some of the ideas, or maybe you would like to be a guest if you have something in mind. Otherwise, have a great day, and thanks a lot for joining me.